Hey, I'm working on a watercolor portrait today of a young girl, and I'm going to be doing essentially the same thing I would be doing as if I was in my figure drawing class in our watercolor section, where we have a 20-minute, maybe 30-minute long session, extended session of the pose, and we have to go get in there, sketch it, and then do a quick watercolor of it. It's intended to be fast and a quick study, just to loosen the students up. So I'm going to keep the color palette very limited and just really focus on tonal range and contrast in the shapes of the face. I have a really nice photograph of a young girl. It's got strong lighting, and that's one of the key things that will help you out too, is when you're doing this, is if your subject matter, whether it's a live model or it's a photograph, if you have some strong shadows on the face. Anything evenly lit is going to be a lot more of a challenge as you're getting started painting faces. So let's get started. So I've sketched this up in blue line pencil. What I typically do, and I don't know why, but it tends to work out really well when I'm in class with my students and I'm limiting my color palette, I normally will do the bulk of the work with a purple. And I got some freaking purple there. All right, so I'm going to mix up a pretty good swath of purple, very saturated. All right, and we'll just simply get started here. All right. So I'm going to work to protect the highlights on here as I work my way around. All right, got a nice bead up here. All right, and then I'm going to come back in right in here. And I'm going to loosen all of that up. So I've got a lot of pigment onto the paper already. Start throwing in tone into the various areas. So I'm looking for the big shapes, and I'm establishing hopefully an initial pass of the saturation. Okay. Throw a little bit back here, soften that up just a little bit. Okay, so getting everything nicely blocked. Switch over to a slightly lighter brush. I'm just going to soften some of these edges. So that's pretty much color blocked. So that's stage one, and I'm going to let that dry a little bit, I think. All right. So I'm just going to get started. I'm going to come in. I'm just going to start building the various shapes, finding the deepest, darkest darks and things in the facial features. Purple's a good color because it is dense, and when it's thinned out, it has a gorgeous transition into the lighter tonal range of the color. So I really like using it. Feels pretty dry. Get slightly smaller brush here. Okay, so I'm just going to bounce around and get all of the nice edges. So I'm just establishing all the facial features, detail on the ear, the lips, the eyes, the nose. Okay. All right. That's fun. And okay. This is going to be a lot of lost edges right in here. So I'm going to get a little bigger brush now. Okay. Okay, I got a lovely looking cheekbone right here. I'm going to get that right there. It's going to come in and it comes right down, like right there. And just feather it out. So this is a nice way of kind of coming to grips and working with facial features, is just keep it nice and simple color-wise. Isn't that gorgeous? That purple is just marvelous. All right. And we get this lip a little better. All right. So I've really got my big shapes all figured out. I'm just going to draw a little bit of contour edges. Paint in the hair. Just keep massaging it. Alright, so there's going to be a little tone right there. Comes around. And we'll start working in some of the hair details. Alright, so anyway, that is a quick one color purple portrait of a young lady. Anyway, hey, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. Give it a try. Keep the palette very simple. So this is essentially what I do with my students in my figure drawing class when we're working with watercolor. They have a fairly short, it could be a 30-minute, could be an hour-long extended pose, and then working with the watercolor coming in. I recommend to the students to keep the palette limited, one color, two colors at max, something that has a lot of density so they can get those deep, deep, dark colors and create the sense of form and structure to the drawing that they did. So give this a try, see how it works, let me know how it goes. If you got any value out of this tutorial, please give me a like and a subscribe. Head on over to my Patreon page and give me a subscription, a membership to that. If you feel like any of my videos have been giving you some good value and you've learned a lot, help support this channel, and I really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next tutorial.